Happy Friday, everybody. It's Penny and Kim lighting up your Friday with the 5 stars of strengthening families. We are beginning our 4-part series on communication this round. And Penny's going to start us off by checking in from last week and then asking our question of the day. Go ahead, Penny.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. So we ended our 4-part series on resilience, asking you to shine the light on the joy, the smiles, the pride, the times you have parenting your teen or emerging adult that make you smile or bring you joy, to notice when things are seamless and why they're seamless, to be proud of yourself. So hopefully you had some moments, hopefully many moments where you could, I had a beautiful time with my daughter and her friends, and I'm always just kind of in the background, and I love listening to what the things they talk to each other about. So that was quite fun. All right, so moving into communication. So directly thinking about social and emotional competence of your teens or emerging adults. Our first question is, how do you avoid unintentionally, and that's key to highlight, this is unintentionally crushing your teen's dreams with your idea of what's realistic or what's safe? So they've come to you with some fantastic idea, and you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
How do you avoid that, Kim?
I think, this is something I think we all kind of have to learn as parents, and it becomes a little bit of an art or a dance, because it's like, okay, I think I just crushed the dream. I didn't mean to. I was thinking about safety. I was thinking about money. I was thinking about all those things, and I accidentally, and you've crushed it when they shut right down. Well, they're probably different kids will show different things, but when the conversation is over, it's like, oh, I think I might have went a little bit in too hot there. And if that does happen, then there's repair work that needs to be done. I'm sorry that, I might have been thinking about, some of the, what was the word you used earlier? Logistics, realism. And just apologize. But what I've learned, over the years is just being curious and saying, oh, what, I wonder. That has become one of my favorite words. Oh, I wonder, what that would be like, hey, and just keep putting it back on them, and because they'll be able to figure out that maybe this isn't possible because this is going to cost a fortune, or it's not realistic, or, all of those things. But when it's my idea, it's going to go in one ear and out the other. It's when they are able to come to that understanding that they actually will say, on the other hand, that probably won't work because of this, or that. So it helps to build maturation in them when we're able to help them come to it on their own. And the other thing is that if we say black, they say white just because we said black. So I was mentioning it to you earlier, Penny, when we were talking about this question. I remember somebody saying that my mother told me that I would be a good nurse and that I should go into nursing. And she said, so I didn't. And she said, but the reality is now, as a 30-year-old, she said, I think I would have been a really great nurse. My mother was right. But because my mother said that I should, I didn't even try. So, the resistance came up, and so there's another reason to kind of zip the lip and just say, oh, tell me more.
Yeah, so following that point about the story of the nursing, it's like, you know how strong the counter will is in your toddler, right? Like there's a reason that toddlerhood and teenagehood are like parallels, because your teenagers, you know, have that in spades, right? They don't, they're not interested in anyone else. Well, not you anyways, maybe their peers, but they're not interested in you trying to direct them, for the most part. And I mean, they might come to you saying, you know what, I'm thinking about this and I really would love your advice. And even then, you know, how you go in, like you said, the soft startup, right? Oh, tell me more about that, right? Because, and again, we talked earlier about this idea of curiosity, because you don't actually even know when the conversation starts how far they've gotten with their research. And kids nowadays have that at their fingertips, teenagers, right? So they've maybe already got some answers to these questions. And if you broach them in a curious way, like you said, the conversation can evolve, and maybe they've already thought about those things. So how to avoid it myself unintentionally is really just, you know, again, going to what's behind the dream, right? So what feeling is it you're looking for? What, because usually it's in teenagers and little people too, it's about some sort of idea of a feeling, or that would be make them happy, or so it isn't maybe necessarily just about the dream, and sometimes it is. Really just being curious and getting them talking to you, because you get to learn about this person, right? They're allowing you into their world. Take it. And even if you said, if all you can do is just go, well, that's an idea. Tell me more about that. Because sometimes that's all your capacity is, right? Is to just bite your own tongue. And because you're just dying to say, are you crazy? Right? And other thing you said was they'll come to the realization on their own. And what I thought of when you said that is, even if they don't, right? It's their life to live. So you still have your own boundaries, and you can still say, well, I love the idea, or okay, no, maybe you don't. I hear that you really want to be a doctor, and you really want to go to Brazil to take your training. And while I can support that emotionally, I cannot support that financially, right? Because, so you know what? I'm here with you. Let's research how you can maybe make this happen. And again, maybe they do something and it doesn't work out, but we're right back to authentic humans. Authentic humans try things and then they don't work out. So again, looking at fear-based. Okay, so obviously there's certain safety measures. So, and you as a human being are allowed to say no, absolutely not. So it's up to you to prioritize those things, relationship and safety. And again, you're the expert of your family and your children. But when you can, just building that curiosity into the dialogue. And even if at the end of the conversation, you have to say, you know what? I can see you're really invested in this, and these are the reasons why I am not. And I'm sorry to be the buzzkill here. These are some things that really are concerning to me. Right?
And understanding that they might be disappointed about that, and then helping them with those big feelings.
Parents, your job, your work is never done. Oh.
So, yeah, I also just recently heard that when kids are little, they're like, they can be like kind of like a dog, you know, like dogs are in relationships, you know, they're like, oh, you know, what are we doing now? Where are we going? Hey, let's do this, you know. And then when they come into the teen years, they're more of the cat, you know. I don't think so, you know. And then when they get into the adulthood and they get to the, you know, 25-year-old, then you're like, come more into that, like a dog again. Hey, mom, what are we going to do? You need help with the dishes? You know, can I do this for you? It's kind of this, and when I heard that, I chuckled because it is having a young adult now. I'm already starting to see that come back, mom, hey, mom, you want to do this together? Do you want to? And it's just such a wonderful feeling to kind of be through that. But I know I chuckled when I heard that, because it does seem like you got to make the cat think it's their idea, really. If you
Yeah. And again, I think underlying all of the things we talk about, for me, it all comes back to that idea about happiness, right? That somehow it's our job to make sure our children never experience failure or pain or, yeah. So, yeah.
Gosh, that had to have been, Penny, the biggest parental lesson that I learned was that when I let go of the quest for happiness, when I realized just how much growth and healing could come from creating space and honoring and valuing the sadness and even the anger, the big emotions, man, that changed everything for me in my parenting and brought me closer to a teenager. Who would have thought that it would be the exact opposite, look in the exact opposite direction, where happiness comes through those other emotions. You can't have happiness if you don't have the other go through the others. So.
Yes, because we can't selectively avoid emotions. So if we're avoiding our feelings, we learn to avoid the good ones as well as the bad ones, right? So that idea that we feel it, we name it, we get curious about it, we feel it, and then it eventually is one of our coworkers talks about energy in motion, right? That energy has to come out to be able to move on. And the stuffing down of that energy is what leads us to unhealthy coping, because it never has a chance to get out. Yeah. So our challenge this week, we want you to try, when you can, to join in the dream. So like Kim's favorite phrase, oh, I wonder, or tell me more about that, or in our house, it's, oh, that's an idea. Trying to avoid the language that sounds judgmental. And even if your judgment is a good judgment, because alert, 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 right? Same as Kim says with counter will. Like if your teen comes to you and says, the sky is blue, and you go, you're right, it is blue. They'll be like, no, it's not, it's black. So beware the trap of agreement. The idea is they want you to let them talk and be, and so try to ease off on the judgment, good or bad. Just tell me more, that I know I want to hear more. Tell me what you thought about this and what did you find out about that. Give it a go. See how it goes. All right. So that's it for today, unless I missed anything, Kim.
Nope, that's perfect. I love the challenge. That's great.
Okay. So happy weekend. And we will see you next week with part 2 in our communication series. Bye, everyone.